Hi, everybody. We're
Oh,
here.
live. Shh, 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 shh.
Wait, what?
Oh.
What are we doing?
We're talking about stuff.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, we've started recording. Show's getting ready to go.
The,
We're
the round table is
we're on the
prepared.
road. We've been
Mhm.
raided. Thanks for everything, chat. You're wonderful. Yes, it's Chance and Stanley Billings together at
Yes.
last.
Pulling in 3, 2, no.
Wait, what? What? Oh, jeez, Tet. We were not
Yeah.
ready. This is still the pre-show.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I had to get it out of the way.
Hey, Tet, do
Well-
your impression of Civ.
Pulling in 10,
10,
9, attack.
deck.
And Tet's dead, or Civ's dead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tet. I threw you under the bus there for a moment.
No, it's fine.
Well, you know what? He totally might have changed his ways since he hasn't raided with us in like a year and a half. So
Yeah.
I don't know. He's all up on the heroics now, so I would
Oh.
think that he has,
I wouldn't think so. This is Civ we're talking
unless he's
about.
getting just ultra carried.
Well,
You
he
mean-
is tanking for them, so he's kind of in control of when he attacks.
Oh, well, there you go. That's all he
if
needed to
he's
do.
like, if he's off tanking though, then it could be he's still
Yeah.
first.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, well, then again, he still tanked for us, and he would die right away. So
If
Yeah, exactly.
Civ's doing it, it's off whatever it is. If he's the
Mhm.
Dragon Knight, he's the off Dragon Knight. If he's pirating, then he's the off pirate.
Didn't he get out of the big tree or whatever you run around in Heroes accidentally?
Dragon
Yeah,
Knight-
he
Yeah.
ran behind their tower, ran up to their keep, and then hit escape out of it, and then proceeded to get blown up by all the tower cannons.
and then said, "Oh man, they dropped a lot of damage on me."
Yeah, he tried to get away with it, and we all knew. We all knew.
Oh, Civ.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me sad about that story with Civ is that I actually, legit, I would not try to make Civ feel better. I did it myself like a month later, so.
Yeah, but you weren't the first to do it, so you're fine.
Yeah, right. Nobody remembers the second person to drop
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
a Dragon Knight. They always remember the first.
Yeah.
Oh, who was the second person to step on the moon? No one knows
Your
that.
mom.
Oh, I didn't know she was in space.
Boom.
Or an
Yep.
astronaut.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
She wasn't, but she was the
Oh.
second person on the moon.
Oh, I didn't know they took passengers.
They didn't, but she was still the second person on the moon.
Oh.
I don't know if this burn's getting better or worse, but
It's getting better because it's funnier.
Huh.
I feel like I wanted Ben to follow that up with, she was the second person on the moon.
Well, no. I just. Huh.
Uh-oh.
This is weird. No, because I haven't gotten a beta invite yet, and it seemingly everybody else in the world has
Uh-huh.
that I know. So I'm like, I'm just gonna check my Blizzard account
Sure.
while we're talking here, and I have an extra PTR logo on there, so I'm gonna see if I actually have access to the alpha now.
Check your launcher.
Launcher is I'm in the alpha, guys!
You
Yay!
did it!
We did it,
Woo!
guys.
Yay!
All right.
Oh,
Show
cool.
canceled. Ben's gonna go play. No.
Yeah, Ben's connection's gonna be shitty as he downloads the alpha.
What? No, I wouldn't. I'm in the alpha. Yay! I feel so
Come, guys, I do
Good. What?
that.
Can't
It,
hit.
wait.
Ooh.
Well, you know what's awesome is that I'm the one recording, so I'll sound fine, and you guys are gonna sound.
I'm the one streaming, so you're gonna get yelled at by the chat before anything.
It's okay. They're only here now. The podcast lasts longer. Well, no, then there's the YouTube shit. Either way, we're screwed.
I'm fair warning you. This could easily go 2 hours on podcast.
We
Nah.
will not, because at some point I'll go, well, anyway, thanks, Tet.
I know. If Ben doesn't beat you to it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? We're getting ready to do that in 4 minutes.
I just finished recording for an hour and 45 minutes. There will be a point where I tell you, Tet, we're done.
Yeah.
This
Did you
boat
did you
has
record
run ashore.
did you record D&D before that?
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
See, the funny thing is when you sent me the text that you couldn't do dinner tonight, I saw core, but I read There Will Be Dungeons.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
oh man, he's gonna be so bummed that There Will Be Dungeons is over and then come into the show and be in a bad mood.
Yeah, I would. You would see me at my saddest. Like, it wouldn't even be grumpy John. It would just be like, what does it
Depressed
all
John.
matter, John? Like, people would be like, John, what do you think of all these Horde and Alliance changes? I don't know. What is it?
Yeah, I
What
was
is?
gonna say
Does it matter?
It's the nature of everything
speaking
to
of Battle
change.
for Azeroth. Anyway,
You know what, Ben? Ask me again in a week.
John, what are your plans leading up to the expansion? I guess sitting around waiting a lot.
accurate.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and start the show. What do you guys think?
Okay, great.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really off the rails.
That's a yes. You're both ready. You're good.
Yes.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Yes.
Holding on.
I'm ready.
Okay.
How are you?
We're all fine here.
Boring conversation anyway. Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 263. My name is Ben Bumhofer. It is Friday night. I'm excited. It's going to be a great show. And with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. How are you? It is Friday night. I'm so glad you point that out because, as a matter of fact, I checked the calendar, which I have.
Oh,
And it is Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm so excited to be joining you here at the round table. But we're not alone.
No,
and
we're not.
There's no privacy at this round table. We're joined by none other than Raid Team Leader Extraordinaire, but not for me, because I don't show up ever.
You're still a member, though.
Still a member, honorary member. Will probably show up now that he has a time limit on his Mage Tower. Tetsemi, hey!
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, you need some better gear for that Mage Tower there. You should show up.
I need to overcome my severe deficiency at being able to play WoW.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I don't mean to totally sidetrack us right out the gate.
It's
okay. The whole show is going to be one big rat hole, so go ahead.
I want to... This is the moment, like, not that I had a lot of credibility to begin with on this show, but this is the moment I'm going to just throw any that I have out the window. Do you ever feel like you don't know how to play WoW?
Yes.
No, I'm
like,
pretty good.
Like, maybe you've gotten it all wrong. Like, there's other people out there who know some secret to playing the game that you don't, and you're sitting there and you're like, I don't think I know how to play this game.
Yeah, every time I run the Mage Tower.
Okay.
Well, let me ask, Ted, have you gotten any of the hidden appearances yet?
Yeah, I've gotten the one in the class order hall for the arms warrior. I got the one which is weird.
Not the hidden appearance. Sorry, the Mage Tower appearance.
No, I've only tried it on Tet, and I can get to the second boss, which is the one you need to kill, and then it just die horribly, even though I'm completely overgeared for it. So I'm trying to figure out how bad I actually am at tanking.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I haven't gotten to stage 2 yet on the healing one. But in my defense, I've tried all of maybe 5 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
I spent about 20 minutes, 30 minutes working on it one day. Looked up some videos, looked up some strategies, and it's just like, deal with ad management. Okay, no, it was it was rough.
I think what I mean, though, is I think I've done... So people use, like, bartender and stuff like that to give them a bunch of buttons.
Right.
Do people have those all hotkeyed, or do they click them, or how do they use them?
So, just for tanking, because I use bartender, I have 1 through 0 minus and equals.
That
maps.
part I have down. I'm good at 1 through equals.
Right. But then the second, third, and fourth one are basically Alt 1 through 0, Shift 1 through 0, and Control 1 through 0. So it's just I hit a modifier key to do it. So when I need to do an interrupt, instead of hitting 4 key, which is my thunderclap, I would hit Alt 4, and that hits my interrupt on the boss. So everything I do is off basically the first probably 6 keys, but then I have modifiers for all 6 of them. So I have like 24 options. I don't use all of them. I use maybe 12 keys total, but that's how I do it.
Okay. Because I have a dumb setup that I will put on par with back when I was first learning to PC game, and I used to play with a controller in one hand and a mouse in the other hand, and
Right.
would occasionally hit buttons on the keyboard. So the
I'll-
way I play
I'll
WoW
put a
is currently
screenshot
on
of-
par with that.
I'll put a screenshot up of just how it's laid out so you can see it. Maybe it'll make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure it out.
I do have to say, first of all, Tetsemi, I have seen your layouts and they are majestic.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the healing one and everything, and I'm one of those healers who doesn't use a healing add-on at all, except for cursive, just because I don't want to. Yeah, if I can click this person has the thing, as opposed to going through the whole grid, finding them, clicking them, and then healing them, that's fine. I don't use my abilities with the mouse, though, because I have a Logitech G510 keyboard, so I've got the macro keys on the left side.
Right.
And I've got that all set up with the 1 through equals, and then I've got, I think, 4 or 5 buttons from like the top line that I can do as well, and that's the only way that I actually go through and heal. So I don't have any issues with that for the most part. It's just paying attention to everything that's going on, because with the healing one, at least from some tutorials that I've seen and everything like that, you also need to kind of do crowd control at the same time as keeping everything alive and maybe help do damage too. I'm like, that's not what healers are supposed to do. So I get in there and I'm like, okay, I'm doing the crowd control on the hunter guy, because if he actually hits me, then I lose all my mana. Or I just have the tank stand between us, and then it'll hit him, but then I have to worry about keeping him alive from like this ticking thing, while the others are just randomly attacking other things and taking damage. So it's like the party that you're with, I guess it's like a random pug. I don't know, but you don't have like an actual tank in there. It's like a fury warrior or something like that. So I don't know if
so it is a pug.
Yeah, so if it was like an actual tank, I think it'd work out really well, and it'd be a heck of a lot easier. But whatever. I've only tried it, like I said, about 5 times or so. I think I've done it 3 times when it's been free, because it was I just the Mage Tower's up, and walk up, and then I think I repeated it like twice, and like that's it. So eventually, pretty much I think the next time that the Mage Tower is up, I'm gonna actually go in there and really work at it and try to get this done, because I think I have something like 270 chances of this before I run out of the nether shards. So I'm probably good.
Yeah. No, that's not a problem. I can run this as much as I want. It's just trying to get up the want to do it.
It does. I always say that I'm going to go in and like, no, today's the day. I'm going to just dedicate myself, and I'm going to do nothing but this, and I'm going to make progress, and I'm going to get good. And it was really effective when I tried to do that, but then I only made it 4 tries, and I was like, I gotta stop. This is killing me.
Well, yeah, because even with the announced date of the expansion, I still don't feel compelled, like I have to get this done now. Mm-hmm. I probably will when it gets to June, July.
Yeah, I like the look of it. It's probably not something I'm going to use a ton, but I still want to do it.
Oh yeah, no, the warrior one I want just like John does, because it's a unique model. You don't have a flail on basically any other character except for the tank warrior in this one.
This one too.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I mean, yeah, having an actual flail is something that I actually thought about leveling, my warrior and gearing her up a ton just so I can try and get that flail, because it's so cool looking.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah, that's why, hey, people who have listened to There Will Be Dungeons might know I have a strong affinity for rapiers as a weapon, and getting 2 of those sounds pretty good to me. As a matter of fact, even though it would not have been great for the group, there was a big period of time where that was the direction my character in D&D was going to go.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I will put in the time. I will do it. But I didn't mean to necessarily sidetrack us too much on that, because I know we talk about the Mage Tower a lot, but sometimes I just feel like I'm really bad at WoW, and the Mage Tower reminds me just how bad at WoW I am. So,
Well, let's put it this way. Like, in all honesty, how much have you, or like how many attempts have you done? And like, where is your gear actually sitting right about now?
okay, I have tried probably 11 times.
Okay, that's still not like a lot.
I've gotten to the second stage. Well, I've gotten to where she's teleported twice, but I think it's more of a timing thing than an actual health thing.
Right.
But I've at least stayed alive long enough for her to teleport twice. I am currently, very subtly, without anybody knowing, trying to look up my character and see what my actual item level is.
Really? 'Cause I had no clue that you would even be doing that.
Yep,
And
it's...
I would look her up, except I have no idea what the name is.
Crap,
right now.
that's right. Neither do I. Hold on. I don't, what's my character's name? Hold on. There she is. Okay.
See, this is what happens when you change your character too much, John.
I have a 938 eye level.
You
That's
should
not bad.
probably be closing in on that. Just kind of, practice a little bit, and I think you'll got it.
I know.
You'll get it.
Realize these were meant to be done at like
Don't
9, 10.
we don't need to talk about that.
No, John, I'm at 945, 946 with 4-piece of the most current raid tier, and I'm failing miserably. So I'm definitely doing something wrong.
Yeah, I'm at 9. God, I don't even know what I'm at right now.
I think you're
946.
943.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I don't even raid, and I'm almost higher than you.
I don't know. I'm pulling mine up right now because I don't know. Although I do have to say, my new trinket that I got from raiding is Mobile Auction House is retiring. Oh, that's a bummer. Sorry,
Yep.
just saw that on the app, and that's a real bummer because that thing's so handy.
I know. It's funny. Chad says John's got the hacks. It does feel like that, because I haven't run with you guys in ages, and I had no idea that it was... Well, no, I guess that's not true, because I did go on the last raid. I did run that with you guys.
944, by the way.
9 what?
So what is it?
944.
Okay.
I told you I was close.
Yeah, although I use some different gear and stuff for when I run it, because I give myself my pride as opposed to...
Right.
I think my shoulders, but I think the shoulders might actually work a little better because they heal 2 people instead of 1 with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's definitely one of those things, John, where you have to go look at what talents you're using and what legendaries you have, because it's tuned in such a way that if you have the wrong set of talents or legendaries, it actually makes it harder. So I've had to go in and look and see, okay, what is everyone using? Like, oh, I see how this legendary with these talents makes this part of it easier. Okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah, I actually, if you go down the list that they say we recommend them in this order, I have nothing on the list in that order. So, so what I basically have to do is I have 2 very survivable legendaries. I have Pride As and I have Valera's Pants. I don't think they're called that, but it has Valera's name and its pants. And both of those are very good for sustain. Basically, anytime I do faint, I heal a percentage of my health over time. Right. So between that and Pride As, staying alive, super easy. So the only real trick that I have is that I need my gear to be good enough to make up for the lack of damage I'm getting from not having the right damage dealing legendaries. Right. Because if I can manage the imps, it will take me way longer, but I can get through it because I can self-heal for days on that fight.
Right, yeah.
So yeah. I'll get there. I need to get in and keep trying to farm the correct legendaries, though, because whenever I tell people I've got 3 or 4 of them, they're like, what? How's that all you have? And I'm like, that's all they gave me. Yeah. So
think I've got like maybe 8 or 9 at this point.
What can I say? That's all they gave me. So
Yeah.
And honestly, I've gotten most of mine just during raid, just randomly. It's like, oh, I got a legendary I'll never use because those shoulders, I'm telling you, are freaking amazing. And then I got the best in slot legendary, which is the trinket, which is oh, by the way, all your healing is 15% better now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll use that.
That's awesome.
Of course, it's a used trinket, and I have it macroed to 2 spells that are like my oh crap spells, and that's it. I should use it more often. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed or not, Ted, but last raid night, my healing numbers were way low because I was punching and kicking almost everything.
I know.
Yeah, we probably should have gone 2 heals on Wednesday.
We needed it for for Argus, but yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I do have to be careful of. In fact, I'm going to double check it right now. Okay, good. Took care of it. Is that... So we just got done with the Trial of Style. We've talked about it a lot. As somebody who wears Pride you take that off for Trial of Style because otherwise you're obnoxious.
Right.
So
yeah, you have this bubble around you, right?
there was a period of time last Trial of Style where I played for weeks without a neck slot item on my character because I took it off. And then I darn near got rid of the thing because I was cleaning out my inventory, and that's what reminded me of it. I was like, what is this? Get rid of it. And I was like, wait a minute, wait, no, hold on. That should be on right now.
Well, the good news is that you can't destroy legendaries.
Yeah.
I did not know that at the time that I was dragging it into the mass open void.
Yeah. And the other good news is, you won't have to worry about not having your next slot on, because if you don't have your next slot on for the next expansion, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's a bit important, is what they're saying. Everybody's favorite slot, the next slot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now I'm just thinking of some horrible...
No, I was going to say, for jewel crafters, it's like, okay, great. So you're taking away something we can make. Oh, but you're giving us the ability to make staves and something else. Okay.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Wait, if jewel crafters are making staves, what are inscriptionists making?
They're making the offhands again.
No, they're just, saying they're writing a book, but they're actually just going to the coffee house and drinking coffee.
Got it.
Like looking at the internet.
I'm actually working on a lot of glyphs right now. It's work in progress, but I dedicate a little bit of time every day to it.
I had a new idea for a new character. I mean glyph.
I just want to run this by you. What about okay? Just imagine this. It's a glyph that when you do your Rising Sun kick, it's green.
That it's automatically green.
Okay.
Crumple up paper and throw it.
But what if it was orange?
Oh.
All right, yeah. So I'm just spitballing. I'm just throwing it
nice
out as an idea.
Like the sun, like light from the sun.
it's a fiery kick.
Oh. So it's like a sunrise kick.
Like a Street Fighter.
Oh, like a flash kick.
Like what if you could do a Hadouken?
I can actually. I'm a monk. Yeah, fun fact, I call that my heel Dukin.
He does.
I don't usually have it talented, though. But for the Mage Tower, I need it. Full circle.
Yeah, good job, Ben.
Thank you.
Well done. Guys, I had another really weird thought.
Okay.
I want to run this by you.
You've never had one of those before.
Look, here's the problem. I'm now concerned we're going to get... I'm going to get feedback of, you don't even know how to hotkey properly? What are you doing? So now I'm going to turn all those emails, all those critical emails, I'm going to use my transmutation powers to turn them into angry WTF are you thinking emails by throwing out this idea. Guys, I believe now is the time for a level squish.
Just so that we can end at 100 in the future at some point.
No, maybe. I haven't ruled it out yet. I shot you down very quickly, but maybe. I miss the days, not an eye level squish, because chat's already going again. Nope, not an eye level, actual level. Because we're at 120.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And there's no need for it. And there was a time and there was a place where playing WoW, and I'm not going to say what expansion this was because it is obnoxious when people say it, but there was a time and a place where every level meant something. You got something every time you leveled, and it mattered, and it was cool. Yeah, it was a flavor.
Why don't you go play on a classic server?
Maybe I will. So...
And your hunter can have mana back again.
It was really, really exciting to level up. And as I've been doing a lot more leveling with these new allied races and stuff like that, what I have discovered is that when you make scaling to where you can just kind of go wherever you want, and you take the leveling system as it is right now, leveling up doesn't mean shit in this game anymore. It doesn't mean a thing until you hit, like, pinnacles. And up to that point, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. But it's an astrological number that makes it super hard to tell your friends, hey, you should get into WoW. Really? Yeah, you just have to level 120 times. Just jump in and play with us. Let's go. And so, sure, they have boosts and things like that. But I don't think people should boost if they're new to the game. I think people should actually level. I just think that maybe it's time to squish it down a little bit. So I propose that we squish it down to a place where they can give you something every level again. And while we're at it, let's rearrange the order in which you level so that the game can be in chronological order again.
Remember when I said that years ago, how Wrath should be the beginning of the game?
No. For this moment, I'm going to choose to forget that.
I do remember that, yes.
I actually do, but I'm going to choose to ignore it.
Oh,
so
like, Wrath is level 1.
No, hold on, Ben. This is my idea. So, so you would go through your starting thing, which they might have to rewrite some of them because some of those are written in a post-Lich King Cataclysm sense. So some of those might need to be reworked, but it's better than reworking the whole world. So you would go through your little starter experience, and then they would tell you about the disturbance in the Burning Crusade or Northrend. And you could basically pick and go to either one of those, because we can go wherever we want. And then from there, you would find out about the Cataclysm happening. You go back, and you would have Cataclysm levels and Classic levels that you can go to. And then the chronological order would just continue properly on from there. And I think it would be cool because they could do like big story quests to push you between the various expansions. So once you're leveling between Burning Crusade, Lich King into Cataclysm and what would now be the classic vanilla leveling zones, you would get a story beat that takes you through the introduction to Cataclysm and shows you that happening and makes you a part of it. I think that'd be awesome. It seems like a lot of work when I get the feeling that Blizzard's at a point where they're like, we want to retain, not necessarily bring in new people. But at the same time, I just feel like it would make for a tighter, more fun experience. And maybe then when I dinged and got a new level, I'd be excited about it again instead of it just being, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
moving on.
Yeah, Ted, I know that you've been leveling up allied races just like I have, and
I haven't
really talked to you too much about the experience on it, but like, how do you feel it translates over these days? Because I mean, how long has it been since you've actually leveled from, you know, like lowest level to, well, current?
A long time, because most of my characters I had at 100, because I got them all their garrisons and, you know, all that in Warlords, and then I leveled them to 110 in Legion. So I have 12 110s, and then the 2 allied races I'm working on the Horde side, and the 2 allied races I'm working on the Alliance side, plus my Alliance side 110 that I had leveled up. So I hadn't done a lot of lower level leveling, and honestly 1 to 60 was good. I had taken Tet back through it when they redid it just to see the storyline, and probably took a couple characters through it, but because I took my Nightborn through Eastern Kingdoms and then into Northrend. I took my High Mountain Tauren through Kalimdor and then into Outland so that I wasn't duplicating, quest areas. But 1 to 60 was fine. 60 to 80 is very slow. And yet I'm still going to hit 80 before I think I get out of the area above the troll area, the area above Grizzly Hills.
Oh, Zundrak?
Zundrak, yeah. I won't even hit Storm Peaks or Ice Crown before I'm out of there, which is disappointing, but it's the leveling thing. I know you said once you hit Pandaria, it speeds up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. First of all, Zoldrak, I totally said that wrong, but
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. So, John, I haven't actually talked to you about it yet, but you know how happy I was that I could completely skip Burning Crusade, and I told you like I did a little happy dance and stuff. So, I did the 70 to 90, or no, 60
to 80
in Wrath, and basically I did Howling Fjord, Dragon Blight, and a little bit of Sholazar Basin, but it took forever to get
it does.
At least it felt like that compared to what you had before. And I'm like fully decked out in heirloom gear and everything.
Same here.
And, taking advantage of the Dark Moon Fair when it's up.
And rested XP.
Yeah, exactly. So, then I hit Pandaria. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in Pandaria. And so this is what I got to say. Pandaria is still beautiful and such a fantastic place to go. I love it. It is great. I get through Jade Forest and I'm 85.
Yeah.
Wow.
The balance between the things
is so different.
It's off.
Yeah, and then I went through
Valley of the Four Winds.
Valley of the Four Winds. I didn't even do most of Valley of the Four Winds, and I'm like 88 right now, and I went up to Kunlai because I'm like, let's go to Kunlai, yay!
Yeah.
And
well, you just wanted to visit the Grummels.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much it. But no, I will say that one thing did happen that made me so sad and bummed out, but like happy at the same time. So
was it the Jade statue?
I took tons of screenshots of that because I love that cinematic and that whole thing, and it's like one of the most heartbreaking things in that you experience in game. But no, so you go through and you do some quest or whatever to, I guess, like have a vision of what's the zone, the Golden Lotus zone or whatever, how where the temples are that you go.
Not the Valley of the Four Winds.
It's the
one
whatever.
that's all destroyed with the Shaw. Yes.
Yeah. Like pretty happy.
Golden,
the one that you're supposed to watch where the water flows through the valley and stuff, and instead it's all Shaw.
Yeah, and so they changed it, and then the reaction of I'm guessing it's Veil of Eternal Blossoms. Thank you, Gorilla.
Yes.
So Veil of Eternal Blossoms, and I'm going through there, and it's all Shaw infect and everything. And then when it pulls back from the fly through, it has him like, no, something's wrong. We have to fix this. And I'm like, oh man. And just going like, being at level before it was destroyed and then playing through now and seeing that, it actually hit me really hard because I knew what it was beforehand and everything, but like seeing this and looking at it through the eyes of someone who hasn't gone through that, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. Except I'm so glad that it's in there, and it's one of those things where, okay, there was a change in the world, how we are always talking about, like a live world where things can happen, things change. And if you didn't start playing from the very beginning, you might not experience everything. And this is like one of the few instances where this actually happens in game. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. It's the piece of that I don't like is when you first get to the valley, or not even to the Vale, but there's something in Valley of the Four Winds where you find the waterfall or the water source, and it takes you back up. The problem is they didn't keep the phasing of the old stuff, so it's all the new destroyed stuff. So when you take that journey, you're seeing it all destroyed. You're not seeing it as it was. And it's you
don't see it as it was at all.
Did
It's
they finally
it's
fix it?
as far as I know of, everything that I saw going in there and everything like that. Yeah, it's all destroyed.
No, that's what I'm saying. Before, when you took that journey, when you followed the water back to its source and stuff into the Vale, it was all pristine. And
Oh,
then when you first did that quest before Garrosh dropped the heart in the well,
mhm.
you actually got to see the Vale as it was pristine and all that. But as soon as they changed the world, they never updated that cinematic to go back and show you.
So that's the cinematic that I'm talking about then. Yeah, they
Yes.
show it all destroyed and
Right. It used to be all pristine before they destroyed it. So you would actually see it, as it was. And that's the one thing I'm bummed about, is that they didn't keep the phasing to show you the advance of, on low level, I haven't advanced the story that far. So I'm going to see it as it was. And then by the time you get there, it's destroyed.
And see, I am on the complete opposite side of that, saying this is something that happened. It's a real world. It changes and it sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So differing viewpoints on that. But yeah, I thought it was cool because as someone who's new, you see this horrible landscape and everything of what's going on. It's like, what the hell happened here?
Right. Well, and the thing is, right. So imagine a new person coming in, they would go, yeah, what the heck happened? And it would have an impact on them. Mm-hmm. But remember our impact of seeing it go from pristine to destroyed. They don't get that transition. They don't get to see, it would be like them just seeing the destroyed jade serpent and never seeing it, or jade statue, and never seeing it built up. They just get the destroyed jade statue, so they don't have the impact of the before.
Yeah.
It's a dividing point. I actually am going to agree with Ben. I prefer, and I've said it a lot of times on the show, I think that I would prefer, rather than adding new continents constantly, I would like a smaller world. We're past this point, by the way. I'm not making a case for Cataclysm again. This is something that you do from the get-go before you add a billion different continents. But I would be more for a world that evolves rather than a world that constantly grows. Because the world that constantly grows, eventually you go back in time, or eventually you go to the moon, or eventually you go, it always ends up having to go off the rails, because how many times do you do, guess what, guys? We found another continent. And at what point does WoW become, hey guys, we found the other side of the planet?
Exactly, and that's where we're headed.
Well, no, so I guess what I'm arguing for is what they're going to do with the burning of Teldrassil. And that is, if you're level 1 to 109, Teldrassil will still be there, and it won't change until you get to 110 and get into that storyline. And so that's kind of like, that's what I'm arguing for, is I'd like people to be able to see it before, and then as they advance in level, have the change happen, and then they can see it, so they can experience that full range. That's all I'm arguing for.
No, I get it, but to me, the reward for playing this game, or again, I guess in the world we have, I'm going to be useless. I'm going to agree with both of you. Let me make sure that this stays a stalemate as long as possible. In the World of Warcraft we have, I probably lean with you, Ted. Like, I think it's good that people can go through and experience the content as it happened and see the before and the after and the results and all of that.
Right.
In the hypothetical game that I'm proposing, where it's a constant world that's evolving and changing, if you're late to the party, you see the world as it is. You play in the world as it is. If you miss the thing that destroyed the city, you miss the thing that destroyed the city. But there's going to be plenty of cool things that come in to make up for that. So I think, again, just to make sure that this remains neutral, I agree with you both.
That being said, Ther-no-more is still there on one of my characters because I never did the scenario.
Yeah, Ther-no-more.
Right.
Jaina should be cool all the time because Ther-no-more is still there.
Well, a lot of this actually comes down to, at least in my opinion, how long ago the expansion actually took place. Because at some point, yeah, we're leveling up through older content and everything like that, but you have to look at it as what's happening in game right now and what's current. So once Battle for Azeroth happens, all the people who are 110 and everything like that, yeah, okay, Teldrassil burned down because, Malfurion played with matches. Everybody knows that. That's what's going to happen. And it's a thing that's said, and it's happened. 3 expansions from now, are they still gonna kind of force that issue in it? Like, is that pit of the world still gonna be there, or are they going to just kind of force everybody into the destroyed Vale of Eternal Blossoms kind of mentality? I mean, it really comes down to what's current, who's actually playing the old contents. And I mean, if we get in 2 or 3 expansions from now an allied race who is allied after that whole fight of everything that happens, are they going to have to go back through and relive everything?
Yeah. Well, and that's to John's point. That's the problem. The world we live in right now, they've got to balance all that stuff. They can't have a living, growing, constantly changing world because, like Teldrassil, it's the Night Elf starting area. So they'd have to completely redo where the Worgen end up, where the Night Elves start for this expansion to be able to make that burned down Teldrassil for everyone.
I want a brand new player to this game to make a Night Elf, to be running around, and a glitch happens and they phase into the alternate version, and they're just walking around, and then just all of a sudden everything, and they're just like, oh god, it's happening again. It's all on fire.
That'd be awesome. Deathwing, you came back.
Can we agree that the phase of Ther-no-more, where it's still there, should be called Ther-no-more?
That's bad.
Mm-hmm. It's bad, but it's also right.
I like it a lot. It's a little too much.
So, question for you guys, because last week and then I think the week before, you guys were talking about taking new characters into this expansion that we're talking about. And I'm kind of having the same thoughts that you guys are having. I can't see bringing Tet forward into the expansion story as they've told it right now, or as they're showing it to us. But mechanically, the only thing that's holding me back from saying, oh yeah, I'm just going to switch characters is I have 76 exalted reputations on Tet. I'm not going to redo those on another character.
Well, that's why you just race change, flip-flop them. So you still have all that work done, but it's a different character.
Give Blizzard a little more money.
That's what. No, I was actually thinking of doing that because I may, for this expansion, actually retire Tet. And
oh my gosh, they're gonna think there's a conspiracy when all our friends are retiring our main characters. What the heck is going on?
Well, because so here's what's in my head that I was going to talk about pre-show. Is this expansion, to me, the way it's being presented, as well as the way as Legion ended, this feels mentally to me like WoW 2.0. It's the start. Mm-hmm. You could take a brand new 110 boosted character into this expansion without any baggage or history or behind and be perfectly fine because you're no longer attached to Legion. The Legion's not invading, you don't have all that history. It's a new story of these two factions fighting in this new area. And for me, headcanon wise, Tet wouldn't go and do this. This isn't his storyline. His story kind of ended, like Rose says, where you guys say it kind of ends at Legion with, we got everyone together. I don't know who these people are that's going off and fighting each other, but that's not the war I would be involved in.
Well, I'm gonna say that I like where you're thinking. I would make one alteration. And instead of 2.0, I would call it World of Warcraft: The Next Generation.
Oh, see, I was going to World of Warcraft: The Next Class, or the new class.
The new class.
Sure.
But you guys see what I mean? And generation is the word I was actually thinking of, John, in the back of my head is this is Warcraft for a new generation of heroes that we're playing. And I think that's why I'm okay with retiring Tet and bringing a new. In fact, I'm probably going to do it like you are, Ben, with an allied race. It's either going to be a High Mountain Tauren, or it's going to be my my Nightborn that I bring forward, because everything else is Legion and before. I'm leaving that behind and saying, you know what, this is a new adventure. It's time for a new generation to move to the forefront. I'm taking new characters in there.
Generation Next, brought to you by Pepsi.
No, I don't like
So-
Pepsi.
I
Anyways.
mean,
But-
Pepsi owns Mountain Dew, who does Game Fuel. There's a Game Fuel robot pet. You fill it with Game Fuel.
Speaking
World
of the
of
game,
Warcraft Generation Next, brought to you by Pepsi.
we actually just had those robot pets duel in the last one.
Did
It
you
was
really?
fun.
You broke them.
Yeah.
out.
But I mean, you guys kind of expressed something similar. I mean, this feels like a point where there's a break in the world story where you can do this and not feel left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, and that's kind of where my headcanon is this is just because I've played in the alpha, I've been dabbling along in the alpha, not having seen, because they announced in the thing, it's the pre-expansion patch is going to include content in Darkshore that tells the backstory of the burning of Teldrassil. It'll include both story quests and replayable skirmishes with Elite. So I guess it's the Legion invasions, but done in the backstory of the burning of Teldrassil. Yeah, no, I just don't see Ted participating in that.
I'm just curious how many people are in our camp, because to me the thing
So
that's
am I.
just weird is that I'm doing it, Ben's doing it, you're doing it, Rose doing it. That's a
And
lot.
that was Old Man Frank, so the 5 of us.
There's 5 of
Yeah.
us, but we're in a
Well,
circle, and I don't know if I don't know if outside of our circle it's happening. I'm just curious if there's anybody else, and I'm not saying is rolling a new main. That's a different thing, but is specifically changing your main character or changing the character you play or changing the class you play, and your headcanon story is my character retired or is done for now at the very least.
I have a set of friends from Heather's work, and they're faction changing. They're actually moving from Horde to Alliance for next expansion with all new characters.
Is it
Yeah,
because
I
they
mean-
like Anduin? They can be honest.
No, it's they've done Horde for a while. They liked, I think it was the Void Elves and the which come on, they're just Horde. They're Belfs
They're
wannabe. Yeah,
blood elves with hair.
Right, yeah.
that's-
They are literally blood elves.
I think honestly it's the Dark Irons. I think it's the Dark Iron dwarves that they.
Okay, first of all, how come wolves that are mounts have to have giant blades all over them? I'm tired of that. Just give us wolves that
Because
don't have giant blades on them.
Wolves like bladed weapons.
They're
Yes.
dangerous
It's
by them.
lore.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because of Worgen, they don't use claws.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Okay.
Wolves in the Warcraft universe require tools to be deadly. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Zafira in the chat room, another person who's changing.
Okay.
So that's 6. There's 6 of us.
Yeah. Honestly, I can completely see that this is a break point where people go, okay, yeah, that was all Legion, post pre-Legion, that was all Warcraft, whatever you want to call it. The Warcraft God, what's this? No, what's the Star Trek?
Oh,
The original series.
the
Yeah,
original
it's
series.
Warcraft, the original series. And now we're moving into, like John said, Warcraft, the next generation.
Oh man, you know how it'd be great if it's really the next generation and Anduin is bald and all Picard looking,
That would be awesome. But
or he's just
I
really
made my character old looking for some reason.
why?
I don't know. There's no logical reason that my character was like, I'm gonna retire, and their hair went wah and turned gray, and it's like, oh, you've aged a lot because you decided to retire, and that's how it works. But I don't know. There's something about my monk that just the way the character looked as a rogue, it looks cooler as a aged up blood elf monk.
Yeah. So, okay, this is kind of the thing that I'm having, like, headcanon wise with this. And I mean, that is essentially what this is coming down to. And, Ted, like you said, it really does seem like Battle for Azeroth is kind of a reset of so much stuff. Because if you think about it, the big overarching looming giant, our world's going to be destroyed threat that we had
It's
is
gone.
gone.
Yeah,
And
that was Legion.
how many times have people said, "Oh, once we beat Sargeras, the game's over"?
Yeah.
It is. They have to reinvent something. So now we go back to the petty squabbling and everything, which is great for some people. That's what they want. That's what they wanted this entire time. Good on them. It's not for me.
Yeah.
My character thinks it's silly. Well, okay, I should say my mage thinks it's silly.
Right. Alanya thinks it's silly.
Yeah. Pandalanya, however, is going to basically keep doing the good fight to try to stop it from the inside. That's the headcanon that I've got for her. That's the only way that I can, like, kind of fit her into this. Because, she's a monk and she's trying to, stop the Shah and all that stuff. And it makes sense to be like, hey guys, let's stop this. I mean, granted, the quests I'm going to be doing are like, let's go kill all the Alliance, but that's a little hard.
And that's the thing. Coming from a Pandaren, I would think, and again, it's personal headcanon, but like my 2 Pandaren aren't going anywhere near this at all because they're like, no, because then I'm fighting Pandaren on the other side and that doesn't happen. We don't fight each other. So my 2 Pandaren also won't be going forward into this because there's a chance that you're going to have, the whole brother fighting sister type thing. So yeah, there's a couple characters that aren't going forward in this. Now I've got others that, my Goblin Warlock, bring it on. She's going forward. She has no problem with this. Exactly. My Tauren Paladin, that's going to be interesting. I've got all these different, my troll is definitely going, my troll mage, because dude, the Zandalari, he's going to go home, he's going to go see the other trolls. So it's just affecting certain characters in my stable of characters.
Yeah. So how many people do you think are just going to quit WoW?
I don't think many. I mean, I don't. So here's the thing: is like I may be sitting here and being like, my main character isn't into this. I can say that I have concerns about the expansion. I can say that I have concerns about the story. I had a really good troll tweet today that I did not send out, but I will tell you guys what it was. I was looking at MMO Champion, reading the summary of the dev interviews, and my favorite line from the dev interview was, the team wants to tell a story where it isn't black and white to who started the conflict. And I wanted to screen cap it, and of course copy the devs, because they need to know, and I'm sure nobody else has addressed this, and say, well, when are they going to start? Because so far, not a good history of hitting this particular mark. And by all accounts, from what I've seen so far, still not hitting it. But even though I have all these concerns and all of this, and it's very unsure, Legion was a fantastic expansion. It was an amazing expansion. They are riding a good wave where my approach to it, unlike Draenor into Legion, where I was like, guys, convince me to keep playing. Now it's, guys, convince me to stay. Because it's and that actually even sounded more negative than it is. Like, they won me over. They showed me that, like, hey, we can keep WoW feeling new and feeling good and logging in and having a good time. WoW's great right now, and I'm on board. And so I'm theirs to lose at this point. And that doesn't mean they couldn't lose me, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Kind of across the board. And I think a lot of people will too. I think there's a lot of people going, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this. People grumble. I grumble all the time. Other people grumble all the time. But I think a lot of people after Legion are giving Blizzard the benefit of the doubt, which I think they earned. I think that's what you get for putting out an awesome expansion. You get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no, it was definitely awesome. And like I said, I don't think Battle for Azeroth is going to be any less awesome. In fact, it may end up being more awesome. It's just the transition between the two, the bridge to move my existing character from Legion into Battle for Azeroth hasn't been built yet, and I don't know if it is. So that's the thing. I'm looking forward to the expansion. I'm looking forward to experiencing now, instead of an Order Hall campaign, we're going to have a war campaign. So anyone that was worried about not having followers and anything like that, you're going to have those again. So I'm looking forward to the ships and the pirate outfits and all that stuff, just not with Tet.
So, no, never mind. That's a stupid joke. Forget it.
Hey, I've set the bar pretty low, Ben. Let me remind you of Ther-no-more.
By the way, I have to say that the chat room did throw out there less and also Ther-no-more.
That's a good one for the one where it's a crater.
Yep.
Yeah. But so here's the thing. When I said how many people are leaving, it kind of mixed into, all of us are changing our main characters, in some fashion. I mean, granted, John, you've done it like 5 times in the course of WoW, but this is kind of more, I guess, monumental than all those previous ones. But for the most part, this one's, it's really more of a, story's done. We killed Sargeras. Well,
right.
Sargeras is done. I mean, granted, he can always come back because we didn't actually kill him, and the Titans just seem to like to just sit around and say, "Go get him," as opposed to actually, like doing anything. And
well, I mean, they were tired.
Yeah, and we've got a giant sword, so I mean, who knows what will actually happen with that stuff? But it really feels like, with this big shift in storytelling, with it being essentially WoW 2.0, I'm just going to keep going with that because that's what it's feeling like, without a huge graphical upgrade or turning it into EverQuest 2 and, completely splitting the player base and stuff, which it's a smart way of doing it to keep it all going forward. But I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. And I mean, even if Battle for Azeroth isn't exactly the expansion for me, because I mean, not every expansion is for every single person. I'm excited to see what's going to happen after this initial fight. Like, is there actually going to be an end to the battle for Azeroth? Who knows? If it does continue, what's going to be the next big threat that's looming? Like, yeah, I'm excited to play new content, but I'm really excited to see what's coming after this next expansion.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was going to say that, but
no,
I realized.
Like I said, I just want them, and I'm hoping the pre-patch does this. I'm hoping Christy Golden's novel. I'm hoping the 2 novellas in the collector's edition build this bridge to get us into there, because otherwise it's just, hey guys, we updated a bunch of classes, changed the professions, got rid of first aid, here's some war fronts, here's some island expeditions, and have fun. That's I'm really not trying to be negative about this. I am genuinely looking forward to playing the expansion and experiencing, when the first raid opens, we'll lead the team in there after a few weeks and have fun. I'm still going to be a warrior tank. I'm still on board. I'm just having trouble headcanon wise with my main character moving over.
So I want to, because I think it's a good question. Draven Dresden in the chat said to me, and then later expanded it to everybody, John, what happens after the leveling story is told if you change your mind about your rogue? For example, right now, I'm very certain that this is something that my rogue would not do, but what if once I have the context of the full story, obviously stories evolve, change, this is a story in progress, what if it becomes a story that makes sense for my rogue? What would I do then? So, for one, my rogue is just temporarily retired. Like, my rogue, in my own headcanon, the way it has gone is my rogue has just said, I'm done with Alliance and Horde politics, I'm going to Pandaria, I'm retired. And I made her a monk, which she's been before, because, again, headcanon's fun. You can do whatever you want. But right now, monk is essentially an analog for it. She's not fighting. She's not being a rogue. So if something were to happen where I said, oh, you know what, she should get back in the fight, picks up the daggers and does it again. Or maybe she'll go in as a monk, because monks are fun, it turns out, from playing. So, I mean, that's the nice thing about headcanon. It's very easy to change. Ben can attest that I have changed my character's backstory about 500,000 times over the course of this game.
Careful who you tie your character's backstory to. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, and part of it is, and this is one reason I'm glad I went through all the class stories, and I have the 12 110s right now. Is I can take one or two of them in and experience the storyline, and have them come back, and let the rest of them know what's going on. And let them, and then form the headcanon decision from that point. So that, that's, to me, this isn't something, whereas, with Legion invasions and everything, yeah, Tet was leading the charge to get to wherever it needed to go to resolve this and end the threat. Right now, it's like, you want me to go punch the Alliance after they've been working with me in my order hall for the last 2 years? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how this works out. So, I need the storyline told to me from someone else to convince him to come along.
Yeah.
So do you think that once Battle for Azeroth starts, like one of the initial quests that you have, like, because I mean you've got to disband the order hall. So do you go in and basically just give pink slips to the the other, factions races?
Well, plus
I'm just
you're
hoping
the leader. So, I mean,
Yeah.
basically you're the worst because it's your job to keep it going. I mean, I think in the case of the Rogue Order Hall, they make it very clear, like, we only gather when there's a threat so serious we must address it. So after that, it does kind of make sense that the Rogues would all kind of go their own way. But, I mean, for a lot of those Order Halls, it's like, you're in charge, and now you're saying, like, we're good, though. We're good.
Well, it's like when
Yeah.
Jaina kicked out the Horde from Dollar.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's that all over again. Are we going to have another purge?
Well, I mean, it is once a year. We have a purge. It gets out all of our violent tendencies. Battle for Azeroth doesn't happen anymore. After this, it's going to be World of Warcraft Purge. I'm sorry, that was bad.
That was bad.
Yep.
I will say, just kind of looking over the notes and stuff like that. One thing I thought was interesting is they're but they're introducing Weather 2.0 for this, that you're actually be able to see, like when rain happens, you'll actually see the rain front come in.
Cool.
Yeah, or if you're on an island expedition and all of a sudden fire elementals show up, you'll start seeing ash and embers done by the art team, not just pixels, but actually art and ash start raining on the island. The weather will change as the third faction shows up on the island expedition to try and take it away from you. And they said this will all interact, like you go into one of the swamp areas and all of a sudden some low level fog will roll in and kind of just take over the environment.
Yeah.
And then the girl shows up.
That stuff is cool, but again, like,
Yeah.
it's so surprising to me because I occasionally forget there's even weather in this game, and sometimes
Right.
I'll be in a zone, it'll start raining, and I'll just, what's this?
That was my favorite thing in Storm Peaks. Is
Yeah.
like, at least the first section, like the constant rain. I'm like, oh, this is so great. I live in Phoenix, and at least I get to experience this virtually. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
some
don't
ways
know.
I can do this.
I'm just really waiting for the expansion to come out, just so that, when we find out that the Horde didn't actually start the Teldrassil fire, we could just play Billy Joel's we didn't start the fire, just for a good hour or two, and
You're
flip off the Alliance the whole time.
Man,
you're going with Malfurion playing with matches, aren't you?
Yes, I'm still going with that. I
the
saw a comic.
the first person to put full World of Warcraft lyrics to "We Didn't Start the Fire" is gonna do quite well for themselves. I
I'm
think.
sure Sharm or Silver Latomi will do that fairly quick.
I mean, to me, I don't want to shock you all. I have a little audio sample we'll play here. I have it in good authority that Malfurion did start the fire. It went a little like this. Taronda, my love, my love for you is like this match. Oh shit! That's the fire started.
100% accurate.
Nailed it.
That really sounds right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that.
Well,
So-
Ted, thank you very much for joining us.
He got you. He got you. You were about to go, and Ben put an end to that. High five to Ben.
Who takes this show? Not you.
Healer stole aggro. So good. So
It's
good.
it's usually bad when that happens, but no, seriously though, Ted, thank you very much for joining us. And I know that we could talk for a very long time about this, but that's why we keep it to an hour so that people want to keep coming back.
Yeah, we want to leave them wanting more, not wanting less. Now I've invited comments of people saying, I could have used a little less.
Yeah,
Hey.
get that normally. But anyways, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and we're gonna get you back on definitely before Battle for Azeroth comes out. We can talk some more, and after it comes out, we'll talk some more. And we like having you on, is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
In the meantime, though, where can people find you?
If people want to follow my ramblings, you can follow me at Ivory Tiger on Twitter. And I also do the AIE podcast along with Cyberwave and Mewcow. And that is on Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
If you're part of AIE, it's a great podcast to listen to. Keeps you up to date. John, what about you? Where can people find you?
Well, hey, everybody. If you want to hear more from me, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. It's the best place to keep up to date with what's going through my head at the time. But I'll also tell you where shows will be. Sometimes in the form of a meme. Because somebody didn't know how time zones worked. It wasn't me, though. So, yeah, follow me on Twitter. You can also catch me talking about Heroes of the Storm on Core. Which is the Heroes of the Storm show I do. Trying to go too fast. As part of the Frog Pants Network. And I just finished doing that show. We talked about Deckard Cain. And he's in the game now. But another really great show that you should listen to is There Will Be Dungeons, which records every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We're recording again tomorrow. We have hit a really good jumping on point. If you haven't checked out the episodes yet, and you're thinking, man, I sure would like to check out that show and see why people like it. Tomorrow's a really good day for it. We've kind of wrapped up one arc to some degree. There'll be some carryover, but we're at a real good neutral spot. So I encourage people to check that out and see what we're up to. Ben.
John.
That's what I'm doing. But
I gotta say, I do enjoy that There Will Be Dungeons show. Personally, I think a really good jumping on point is like episode 8.
Yeah, I can see why you might think that, but there's a lot of loose threads. There's some... People said weak characterization in those episodes. I don't know what that meant. No, I'm just kidding. It was great. Nobody said that. I'm just messing with you.
You did.
Those were... yeah, but I was kidding. Ben, where can people find you besides episodes 8 and 9 of There Will Be Dungeons?
Well, the best place to find me is on Twitter. I'm at Ben the Mage. I do a show with Eludra called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. In fact, we are hopefully recording a new episode tomorrow night. That's the plan. It's a busy weekend for me, and we're trying to fit it in there as best we can. Other than that, though, this show, Azeroth Roundtable, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us about your headcanon, you can always email those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. And, of course, all of our episodes are found on AzerothRoundtable.com, on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and all that other stuff. Yeah, that's about it for me, John.
Well, great. This episode, like all our episodes, is made possible by our patrons, and we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to at least thank them for their patronage and encourage you to potentially do the same. Head on over to patreon.com/AzerothRT if you want to help us out in making this show possible. We also give a very special thank you to the Murloc Club for going above and beyond the call of duty. The Murloc Club, as it currently stands, we send a thank you to Frasley S., Kryn, Haster, Mimi H., Annalicia A., Aaron, and Simon. Thank you for being part of the Murloc Club.
No one ever sees the salute that I do. I don't know why I do that.
Yeah, no one sees it, but I see it and I appreciate it. And now we've talked about it, and people know you do a salute.
Good point. Good point. Well, that has been the show. Tetsemi, thank you again for joining us. I look forward to us smashing some faces on Sunday, which, John, as being a member of FERT, you can join us and maybe get some gear.
Maybe
Sunday nights.
destroy a Mage Tower or two.
Maybe. But in the meantime, until next time, folks, chat room, you've been awesome. Thank you very much for joining us on this live episode, which, well, all of them are too. But also until the next episode, thanks for listening, everybody, and be good to each other.